Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show on Ringside Report's YouTube channel. Now, here's your host, who moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma from the East Coast, Bad Brad Berkwitt.
Well, folks, the dead of winter, I guess that's what they call it out here. Come on, we know how it is on the East Coast. This is nothing compared to it. It's about 20 degrees out. There's about that much snow on the ground. But hey, we got a special guest today, but I'm going to hold you in suspense. But not that long, so let's get the show started. Come fly with me. Today, I have a guest that is from Poignant, Oklahoma. And I know I said that right because I only practiced it about 100 times. And from what I understand, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong when he comes on, it has the largest McDonald's in, I don't know if it's the world or the United States, but he'll set me straight. He's a heavyweight prospect. He's 6-0 with 6 knockouts. He's a great guy, great with the fans. I've seen him many times. I think he's about 3-4 times now fight at the Buffalo Run Casino in Miami. Look at that, Miami, Oklahoma. And again, 6-0, 6 knockouts. He's moving up, and he is the son of the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, the charismatic Trey Lippe Morrison, God rest his soul. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Trey Lippe Morrison. All right, how you doing?
Pretty good.
You made it okay?
Yes, sir.
Did I get that right? Poignant?
Yes,
Did I say it right?
You got it right.
And it has the largest, correct me if I'm wrong, was it in the United States or the world?
World.
In the world.
McDonald's, yes.
Look at that, folks. Bill Clinton, I know you love that. You probably campaigned there about 50 times when you were here. Well, hey, let's start off like this. You have a fight coming up March 7th at the Buffalo Run Casino. From what I understand, your opponent is Richard Dawson.
Yes, sir.
Not the Richard Dawson from Family Feud and Hogan's Heroes.
No.
Not that guy. What do you know about your opponent?
I think he's 6-2. He's gonna be my first 6-round fight, and of all the fights I've seen, he's won the distance. So
Okay.
should be my toughest opponent, and ready to bang it out.
Okay. How's training going?
Training's going good. It's been probably the toughest it has been, you know, since I've moved up in rounds with this being my first 6-round fight. So we've kicked it every notch, or every bit of training up a notch that we could.
Okay. And I was with you Saturday over at a fitness, I forget the name of it, the gym that was Craig's gym, Craig Blacklock's gym.
I just call it Craig's Blacklock's gym.
There you go. And I watched you spar, light sparring with Alan, so I know you didn't go all out. But you got a little good sparring in there with Ty Cobb. You guys traded a couple of good shots.
Yeah, we did. We traded a lot of good shots.
That was some good sparring, and it's on the Ringside Report YouTube channel. It's done a lot of traffic, so you know he's very popular. Something I want to commend you on, and I always try to find something about the different fighters or MMA guys, kickboxers that I interview. It's something that you do that I've seen Randy Boom Boom Blake and others that have been on the show. Real good with the fans. All the kids come over to you, you take a picture with them. The grandmas want to kiss you on the cheek. You almost look like a politician, but a good politician. I'm not going to insult you with that. But you take time out for the fans. You're a respectful guy. And we both know that in boxing, there's a side of it that isn't the greatest. It's usually the business side of it. But to date, in your career, 6 fights, and you've been fighting since 2013, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What has been the one thing to date that has surprised you the most about the sport of boxing?
How hard it is. I think everyone in the world, you know, when they have an attitude, they think they can fight. And I'm not going to lie, I thought the same thing when I first started the sport. And with me being an athlete, I thought it'd be just something easy that I could jump into. And it was very difficult. At the very beginning of when I started, I was a punching bag. You know, I'd get in there and I'd get my butt whooped. If that was part of learning, you know, and now I've developed myself into where I can, you know, slip and roll punches and punch back and see openings, and it's starting to become fun for me now. But the very start of it was the most difficult.
It was the most difficult.
And that's what was so surprising.
But you got a good head on your shoulders because, like I said, I watched you with your coach. I watched you with Alan. We both know Alan Green's fought for a long time, amateur and pro. He's been at the elite level. And whether you agree with him or not, and what he said to you, you're respectful. Some people will be like, don't tell me anything. I know he told you a couple things about your jab and some things. Very respectful. Whether you agree with him or not, that's not important to me. But you show respect, and I appreciate that because that's going to take you a long way in this sport. And it's going to endear you to fans that are going to come out and see you just because they like you, and then they like the boxing, but they like you too. And to be honest with you, I know Tony Holden, your promoter, has to love that, because that's honestly what puts fans in seats. When you have a great backstory, of course, but they're coming also to see you and they like you. I commend you on that.
Thank you very much.
I want to talk about, we have here for the viewers. I knew when the first time I saw you wear them in the ring, those were your father's shorts, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, did he wear those in the movie, or did he just fight with those?
He might have actually wore those in Rocky V.
I think he did. I'm not 100%. I don't want to misquote. But I remember him wearing these shorts. When I saw you at Buffalo Run the first time we came in, in October, I saw you wear those. I said, those are your dad's shorts. With that said, there's been a lot of stuff written about your father. And what I would like you to do at this point, take a second, gather your thoughts. When you're ready, I want you to look at the camera, and I want you to share something about your father that doesn't get a lot of press as his son, because I love my dad and I admire him, God rest his soul as well, and God rest your father's soul. Something that isn't shared that you would like the world to know about your dad that didn't get a lot of publicity, as from a son's perspective. Take a second, and then when you're ready, look at the camera and whatever you like to say.
I think one of the things about my dad that didn't get a lot of publicity, because I feel like one of the most focused things was his mistakes outside the ring, and a lot of boxers have those. He had them, but I think one of the things that didn't get a lot of press on was how good his heart was. He would just do things that that are unnatural and that a lot of people don't do out of kindness and goodness. I mean, I remember Tony would tell me stories, and I would see some things about it, when I was young, but Tony would tell me stories how they would be bored, so they'd say they were going to get $1,000 and go to the casino and go gamble. Well, on the way, they would have to stop and turn around because my dad gave away $1,000 to people in the street. So they'd have to turn around and go get more money because that's how he was like. Or he'd read in the newspaper, about someone in the hospital, and he had seen an anonymous card with a bunch of money in it under a thing of flowers. And those are just little things that he did that no one recognized, and he really didn't want to recognize. But that's one of the nicest things. He had a big heart, and I don't think that was really shown.
Okay. And those are the stories that I love, folks. Everybody knows I'm a Sinatra fan. You walk in the house, this should be called a Sinatra house, but that was something that Frank did, and I always admired and always talked about. And see, there you have something with Tommy as well. An anonymous card. Frank would read an article, somebody's house burned down, and he'd tell us what they called back then as Girl Friday, check them, which meant fill out a check, and it didn't matter, send it to the person. And I admire that, and thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Now, I want to throw out some names to you, and the first thought that comes to your head, funny or otherwise, that's what I want you to roll with.
Okay.
Okay? Kenzie Witt.
My other half.
Okay? Jarrett Rouse.
Very similar to myself.
Dylan Cook.
Great fighter.
Jesse Cook.
Same. Great fighter.
Okay?
I need to bond with them two more to really get a one-word answer with them.
Okay. Now, we are going to take a short break for commercials, and we will be back with Trey Lippe Morrison. Health and fitness is everything in life. To achieve both, there is nothing better than a boxing regimen to get you in shape at that special boxing gym. Grimm's Gym is that special place. Located at 8010 Clifton Road in Sacramento, California. Grimm's Gym is owned and operated by Mel Walker, a trainer like no other, who will take you on a fitness journey through unconventional training methods that have yielded results for his students time and time again. So call Grimm's Gym, where there are no contracts, at 916-346-4161. Boxing fans, are you searching for a book that is timeless? A book that not only gives a fighter's perspective, but people involved in the sport and Hollywood celebrities who share their love of boxing? Then the book for you is Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime by Bad Brad Berkwitt. To order your copy in hardcover with dust jacket or paperback, go online to authorhouse.com or call 1-888-519-5121. Is your company looking to achieve more of a market share in its respective area, turning exposure into additional revenue? Well then, the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show is the place you want to spend some of your allotted advertising budget. To find out about purchasing your commercial spot on the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show, call the RSR office at 918-893-7997. Hey folks, we're now back with heavyweight prospect Trey Lippe Morrison. Before the commercial break, let's throw some names out at you. Next one is Tony Holden.
Lifesaver.
Okay. Randy Rouse.
Great influence.
The guy who just won and brought it back to the United States, who you may meet up with one day in the ring, Deontay Wilder.
Great heavyweight.
Now, did you ever meet him or anything?
No, I've never met him.
Never met him? Did you see when he won the title against Stevan?
Stevan?
Yep.
Yep, good fight, and he did great in it.
Okay. And finally, the other one that owns the rest of the belts, Vladimir Klitschko.
An animal.
Okay. If I understand correctly from research, you were a defensive end at was it defensive end?
Yes, sir.
At Arkansas State.
Central Arkansas.
Central Arkansas, okay.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about your football days.
You know, growing up, that's the sport I want to be a professional in. So I pursued that, you know, and I actually got lucky and was able to get a full ride scholarship there, you know, to play there. And I played defensive end all the way up to my senior year. And ran into some trouble my senior year, and my football career kind of got cut short. So
Okay.
that's where this whole boxing thing started. And that's why I point out Tony Holden being a lifesaver.
Okay. And if I understand in my research, Tony came back out of retirement from boxing. He had been retired for a couple of years.
Yes, sir.
From doing it, and when he launched the 4-state franchise with you guys, and that was his comeback to boxing.
Well, yeah, it's a funny story. Actually, my mom told me that my dad's old promoter was in Miami, which is just 15 minutes from Bonita, my hometown.
Okay.
And so I went to his casino, and he, you know, was nice enough to let me come in and talk with him, and I was telling him I wanted to fight. And he was like, well, I'm retired. He's like, and I was like, well, I still want to fight and I want to do it. And he said, no, you want me to do it? I said, okay, well, I'm going to do it without you. And then I get a call back 2 days later saying, all right, if you're going to do it, I'm going to help you.
Right.
And that's where all this started.
No kidding. Well, that's a great story. What is one thing you can share about yourself that really isn't known for the listeners, for the viewers?
I'm a pretty quiet and shy guy.
I think that's known, though. I think that's pretty known.
Yeah, the quiet part, maybe not the shy part.
Okay, okay. Who is your favorite actor?
Actor. Oh, I just had a brain fart, forgot his name, but I like.
Tell me the movie, I'll tell you who it is.
He played in 10 Things I Hate About You. The guy that died.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
I like Heath Ledger.
I actually like that movie because he's saying "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You" with Julian
Yes.
Stiles when he was in the stands.
Yep.
I have it on DVD in my collection. It's a great movie. Look at that, folks. You know it's a chick flick. You know it's a chick flick. And I love it too, though. And it's funny because Jared Rouse picked the chick flick too. And he said he took Heat, which was The Notebook. I'm calling you out on that one, Jared, but it's on tape so everybody knows. Favorite movie?
Braveheart.
Good movie. Mel Gibson. Favorite singer?
Right now I'm hooked on Drake.
Okay. What do you have in your CD player in the car right now?
Drake.
Drake? Okay. If you could meet one person, it doesn't have to be sports or it could be, it's up to you. Meet one person from any time in history. Who would you like to meet, and what would your first question be for them?
Brett Favre.
Okay.
And I really don't know my question. Just what was it like being a quarterback in the NFL?
Okay. Is it safe to say that's your team? Was the Packers your team?
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear the Saints. No guests have said the Saints, Debbie. I've heard Dallas, and now Green Bay Packers. There's no New Orleans Saints. Oh, well, hey. There's always, maybe one guest. Maybe you should pay them before they come on. Okay, and finally, what is the saying you live your life by, if you have a saying that you do?
Let me me think a second.
Okay.
I had one growing up. I always had a little poster that my mom gave me growing up, and it said, "The power to win comes from within."
Okay. Let's go ahead.
Oh, and I always took from that when you're trying something, you know, as in boxing, say you're getting beat up, you're at your lowest point, you know, you got to pull something from within to ever get back on top.
Okay.
So that's something I've always lived by.
That's a good one. Go ahead again, look at the camera. Send out a message to your family, your friends, and your fans who are going to be coming out. I believe it's already sold out from what I understand. They're coming out to the Buffalo Run Casino March 7th. Go ahead and send a message to all of them.
You know, I just want to thank all my family and friends and fans for coming out and watching Bad Brad's show with me. And hopefully I can put on a good fight for y'all and a good night. I'm going to do my best to make all y'all happy. Thanks for listening.
Okay. Well, there you have it. There was a special guest. I told you it was a special guest. And as we always do, we're going to continue to bring you the best. That's another show in the can. And as Frank Sinatra sang so eloquently so long ago, the best is yet to come. Bad Brad